Hello guys, welcome to another edition of Isco World where we'll discuss about football and other related topic. In the course of this video, we're talking about the Premier League week 1 match result from various teams. Indeed, they said the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. So every team we've seen their first step of their performance with respect to match week 1 and some expected results actually happen, and we also witnessed some shocking results, and there are some results that we witnessed that are not too okay for the teams that wants to win the Premier League. But let's actually take a rundown to hold the results. Before we talk about the result, I want you to like the video, share and subscribe. Also click the bell notification so that you can be notified of other subsequent video that we posted, and your subscription is highly important and needed so that we can be able to give you guys more content that is suitable to what you desire. Now let's talk about the first game that opened the Premier League season between Burnley and Manchester City. Now, Burnley is a team that had performed last season in the Championship, and it is a shocking result because no team that comes from the Champions League from the Championship will want to play Man City, the team that won the treble last season. And it was an expected result from Manchester City, even though that Burnley, they were able to put in some good performance here and there, where you could see the class and the difference between both teams. But I believe that Burnley, they have a lot in their arsenal to keep them in the course of this season, especially when they meet middle class team or teams that is actually below their level. Now, the match ended 3-0 in favor of Manchester City, and Helen Haaland actually continued from where he stopped last season, banged a breeze in the course of this game. Now let's talk about the next game, which is between Burnley and West Ham. Now this is West Ham starting a new era without their captain Declan Rice, and it was an even match between both teams as the match ended 1-1. They both shared the spoil of the point. Let's talk about Brighton. Brighton is one team that had performed last season. You know, they qualified for Europe competition at the course of last season, and people were wondering, can they actually be able to keep up that pace, or just a one-season thing that they had? And we could see that De Zerbi is not joking here, even though they sold some of their high-class players in the persons of McAllister and Caicedo. And I love what De Zerbi said in the course of his pre-match conference. He said, big team can buy our high-quality players, but one thing that they can't buy is our spirit. And when a player hears this coming from a manager, they want to actually give their all for the coach, just to ensure that if the gaffer can trust in us in this kind of magnitude, even though the star players of last season, they've actually left the team, then definitely we can go in and deliver just for the sake of the manager, considering the faith that the manager had for them. And they had a fantastic result with respect to their game with Luton Town. They won 4-1. It was a fantastic result for them. Let's talk about Everton. Now, Everton versus Fulham. Now, these are two teams that we can't really understand the direction that both of them are going. Yes, Everton, they had a gaffer that is used to fighting relegation, and we want to see what he can be able to do in the course of this season, which is sondage, to see if he can be able to weather the storm in the course of this season, though they lost that game to Fulham 1-0. And let's talk about Sheffield United versus Crystal Palace. Now, these are two teams that I think if they don't sort their team in the course of this summer transfer window that is going, they can end up fighting for relegation. Even though Crystal Palace, they didn't fight for relegation, but I don't think that Roy Hodgson can be able to do much, especially if he's not given the right tools to work with. And remember, they saw their star player in the person of Zaha, and Michael Lee said is actually about joining Chelsea. I don't think that Iberizi can be able to do all the work by himself, so they need some addition, some attacking impetus in the course of that team, so that they can be able to sustain that level they have, because they are a middle class team in the course of the Premier League. But you never can tell. Southampton, Leicester, they went for relegation last season, so that's to tell you that any team that sleep this time around, they can find themselves in the relegation battle. The next one is Newcastle United versus Aston Villa. Now, these are two teams that played a pre-season friendly that ended 3-3. So people were expecting a tough match between both teams, but I was so surprised with the shocking result that Newcastle United gave in the course of this game. Newcastle won 5-1. I was expecting an even match, but Newcastle, they were so classic in their counter-attack, and they have a fantastic player that is actually going to cause a lot of mayhem in the course of this season, the person of Tonali. That is a fantastic midfielder. The way he carried the ball, in fact, he does all around in the course of the defense setting. He can attack, he can defend, he can even score goal, and he can create assists, which we saw in the course of this game. They were so clinical in their counter-attack. They were hitting Aston Villa on the counter, and they find a lot of space there, although some person attributed to the fact that their captain Hines got injured earlier on in the game. But I think that is a reality check for Aston Villa, that you don't sleep on your laurels of last season, of which Newcastle, they are ready to tell us that it is not just a one chance time that they came to Champions League. These guys, they felt like we are here to stay in the course of this Champions League battle, because you know that definitely to qualify for Champions League in the EPL is a big trophy on its own, let alone to even win the competition. And with the money that they have to inject into that team, I think that they are actually here to stay. But let's see as the season progresses. This is just match week 1, and they started very well. Now, the next one we're going to talk about is between Brentford and Tottenham. Now, this is Tottenham beginning life without Harry Kane. Now, the captain has been given to Son, but he had an underperforming performance in the course of this game. The match ended 2-2. You could see that both teams, they were even, they cancelled each other, and they shared the spoil of the point, which was an even game in the course of that game. Now, the next one we're going to talk about is between Chelsea and Liverpool. Now, Liverpool, they find themselves in a mess, because I don't really understand their strategy. They sell Fabinho, they sell Henderson, and they weren't able to replace those two people, which is actually a big gap in the course of their midfield. But in the course of this recording this video, indeed there was a breaking news that they just signed the player. We'll check about that, and you will get an update in the next video that we're going to give out. But this game ended 1-1. This is actually two teams trying to find their rhythm again, because last season we saw what happened. Both of them were knocked out from the Champions League spot, but Liverpool, they were fortunate to find themselves in the Europa League. And let's see how these teams, they were able to build themselves in the course of this season, to see how they will be able to finish at the end of the season. But I want their fans to be able to drop their comment to tell me if they think their team is fully prepared, or if there's any prospective player they think that their team should be able to go for, that will help them to compete for the Champions League spot, and even move a step further to even win the EPL. The next one we're going to talk about is between Manchester United and Wolves. Now, this is a shambolic performance from Manchester United, but one good thing I will give to Manchester United is, what is important is the 3 points. They were able to get the 3 points, but their performance in the course of this game, I think, is a reality check for Ten Hag, that he actually needs to do more in the course of this team. Because Wolves, the problem they had last season, I remember their coach just left about a few days before this game. The problem Wolves have last season is that they can create chances, but they can't actually finish it up. And we saw that evident in the course of this game. So the chance that Man U had, definitely they were able to take it. But Wolves had a charter for a penalty as a result of the foul that Onana did on their player, but VAR, and this is what people are complaining about VAR in the EPL, that they are not competent enough, unlike other league like the Spanish La Liga and the Italian Serie A. Because after the game, you could see that yes, there were apology that was rendered to the Wolf manager with respect to that, and even Sky Sports even they gave an update that breaking the officials for last night's game against between Manchester United and Wolves have been dropped for the next weekend, because they were expecting that this is actually a critical decision that can change the complexity of the game. And congratulations to Manchester United. They may not be lucky in the next time whereby such incident may occur, and they are Marquis signing in the person of a Mason Mount, given the stand number in Manchester United, the number 7 jersey. You saw what it did. Every of his attributes, goals assist, chance created, crosses, tackles 1, accurate crosses, area duels 1, all 0. And I think that if they need this guy to deliver, definitely they should be able to restructure their team just to favor him, because Mason Mount is a one-dimensional player. He's good in the 8th position, so if you don't give him that position, definitely there's little you can be able to do in your team. He can't play the number 10 role, even though sometimes they want to force him to do that, but that's not part of his strength. His strength is actually a lot of energy, running around, doing some tackles, and also some late runs into the penalty box to give him some goals, and that's what Manchester United can be able to get from this guy. But we could see that in the course of their first game, he was completely marked out of the team, and it is no surprise that Manchester United got their goal when this guy was substituted. But let's see in the course of the next match week, game 2 that will be coming up. So this is actually a rundown of every result that happened in the course of this game. So definitely every team, I want you to tell me, drop your comment to tell me if actually you were pleased with your team performance in the match game 1, or you want them to up the standard in the next game. I will need your comment. Come on, let's go.